global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings Today. There's a lot of dynamics going on in the political radar. A lot of people are of the opinion, in fact, they're predicting that Rotimi Amechi may likely become the new flag bearer of APC, judging by what is going on against Bola Tinubu and the fact that the electoral law may be working or truncating the political career of Bola Tinubu. In a moment, we're going to find out why. But before we do that, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please hit on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Let's hit the ground running. Well, according to the news, the electoral law mandates candidates to submit their personal credentials that will be published for public scrutiny ahead of elections. Well, Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, has filled his mandate on INEC over his primary and secondary schools. The former Lagos State governor, however, claimed that he had 2 degrees from 2 American universities, which he further stated had been stolen by unknown soldiers during the military junta of the 1990s. The disclosures came in an affidavit submitted by Mr. Tinubu to the electoral office as part of his eligibility filings for the 2023 presidential elections, where he also mentioned that he didn't attend primary and secondary schools. The document released on Friday showed Mr. Tinubu left the columns for his primary and secondary school education unmarked, but he said he obtained a degree in business and administration in 1979, apparently referring to his previous claims of attending the Chicago State University. The electoral law mandates candidates to submit their personal credentials that will be published for public scrutiny ahead of the elections. Mr. Tinubu's latest claims appear to contradict his previous election submissions, especially in 1999 and 2003 when he ran for an office as the governorship candidate in Lagos. He claimed that both times that he attended primary and secondary schools. He said he attended St. Paul's Children's Home School, Ibadan, between 1958 to 1964, while his secondary education was at Government College, Ibadan, between 1965 to 1968. From Ibadan, Mr. Tinubu said he proceeded to Richard Darley College, Chicago, from 1969 to 1971. He stated finally to have attended both Chicago State University and the University of Chicago. The Chicago State University confirmed Mr. Tinubu as its student, graduating with a degree in business and administration on June 2022, 1979. All the submissions were, however, challenged as fraudulent by a prominent Nigerian lawyer, Gani Fawanyemi. Mr. Fawanyemi in 1938 to 2009 argued the matter up to Supreme Court, which dismissed the case on technical grounds rather than on its merits. Ikenga Ugochinyere, a political activist in Abuja, said he would challenge Mr. Tinubu's filings in court. I take that again. Ikenga Ugochinyere, a political activist in Abuja, said he would challenge Mr. Tinubu's filings in court, accusing him of having committed perjury. Mr. Tinubu commits perjury as he abandons his earlier claim of attending primary school, sworn in an affidavit to run for governor, but now claims not to have attended primary school. Mr. Ugochinyere said in a statement, his new forms contradict his 2007 affidavit that he has primary school and secondary school. A spokesman for Mr. Tinubu did not return a request seeking comment about the alleged disparities in his submissions to the Electoral Commission. This one is hard. This one is really tough. I don't know if this dream will become just a dream or if it become a reality. My Yoruba brothers will say Obalola. I hope that this will not, it's not a case of Obalala only, because Obalala means the king of tomorrow. And tomorrow never finishes to come. If tomorrow comes, every day is tomorrow. Every day is another day until you see the tomorrow. Obalola is not a good name for somebody who aspires to be a king. Well, with these disparities, some persons are saying, according to the news, that some criminal elements came to his house and took away his results. Okay, let's look at this critically in with the light of what is obtainable now and what was obtainable then. You'll agree with me that now a lot of things are on. We now have databases. Okay, we have filings. Some of those documents, as at that time, his school, there's nothing like a computers. So some of those things are always on just paperwork and papers. So if for any reason you lose those papers, it may be gone for good. He said that, according to the news, that his documents were stolen. But one thing is certain, if Chicago had agreed that he schooled in Chicago, I'm sure they must have submitted a preliminary basic result for him to have gotten admission then. Don't forget he worked with ExxonMobil at some point. Yes, he did. And if he did work with ExxonMobil and Chicago University admitted him and they acknowledged that he was their student, then that means there was a submission he did. There was a basic submission, this basic requirement for each university, which I believe he must have obtained. I believe that as at that's my personal opinion. I believe that as at that time, he must have had documents, and since they don't have backup databases in some of these primary schools, WAEC and the likes, then if you lose your original, it's lost forever, it's lost for life. I guess situations like Bola Tinubu's case must have prompted the likes of WAEC and the likes of this educational board and agencies to have a background, okay, of your results. Peradventure you lose it in transit, or you lose it as you're growing up, you can always come back for their backup, which you're probably going to pay a token. But leaving it blank, he would have just probably wrote. But then that's another thing. The problem is, if he had filled it, INEC would have demanded for a photocopy of those results, or even the original copy, of which probably he doesn't have. And you cannot go and do Oluwole right now. Oluwole, for some of us who don't know what Oluwole means, is to create a fake, as in go to a computer center, and they will just create something that looks like it. Maybe he can just, one would have expected that since if he went to those schools, he would have just created something like Oluwole to fit into those years. If truly he attended, that Oluwole is more like certification of the original copy, of which now if there would be a backup, then the WAEC officials should be able to confirm or deny that he did go to such schools, and those schools existed, right? They should have something to show that indeed he went to that school. So if there are pictures, by all means you upload them. And right now, not filling them means I won't have to have the problem of dropping evidences of my certification. But then saying that you're a university graduate and not having basic requirements that made you to go to get admission to become a graduate, gives a lot of clause and question mark. So a lot of political pundits believe that this may give the second runner-up, Amechi, the ticket to run. But the question is, Jagaban is not a small meat that you come and give to Amechi. Instead, let the whole thing scatter. So I guess they will have to pull on somehow. I don't know how INEC could do this, or APC will do this. They will have to find a way of dusting this whole thing. Let's go to wrap it up. Let's meet in the comment section.